Okay, so I actually wasn't planning on making this video, which may come as which may not sound surprising to you guys since a lot of these videos can tend to be off the cuff. But I was actually working on making a script for a video where I was just going to talk about like 8 hidden gems on the Game Pass service on Xbox and PC, and I stumbled across this game that I had never heard of before, and then I was like, it looks kind of interesting, and I clicked on it with the expectation of adding it to the list and just making a top 10 instead of a top 8. I kinda got extremely pleasantly surprised. Observation may just be the true gaming definition of a hidden gem. Now, I had never heard of this game ever before in my life, like I mentioned before. Despite that it was made by a cult favorite developer, Devolver Digital, and being reviewed pretty highly by several critics, when I initially clicked on it and I kind of like scrolled through it, I kind of wrote it off as a Soma knockoff, and I just didn't really think much of it. But boy, was I wrong, guys, because Observation has so much going for it. And here we're going to talk about just a few things that make Observation a true masterpiece of a hidden gem.
Sam, it's happening again! What are you doing? Sam, make it stop!
I can see it, Sam. Can you see it? I can't explain it. I can feel it.
Observation has a few characters that you'll encounter throughout the game, but the main two, which you probably guessed from seeing the artwork, is the AI Sam and the human astronaut Emma Fisher. Sam is a masterful exploration of the concept of a sci-fi AI, which is saying quite a lot in my humble opinion. I mean, when you have such memorable characters like Hall from Space Odyssey, Gertie from Moon, Mother from I Am Mother, oh my god, Ava from Ex Machina? How did I forget that one? Anyway, Sam is a great combination of dry logic and learning to be emotional.
Look, I know this makes no sense, and you'll probably just give me some broken response. But I'm glad you're here, Sam.
I am here, Emma.
Yeah, you are, aren't you?
As you interact with Emma and different information around the station, you watch as Sam kind of gradually becomes more and more aware of his surroundings. Now, on the flip side of things, we watch Emma go from being in control and confident to terrified and unclear on her purpose, constantly feeling like something is just out of reach, but also trying her best to hang on to her sanity. Now, the combination of these two different types of characters is pretty tried and true sci-fi. It's not necessarily anything new in the genre hemisphere, but it's brought to life by incredible acting by Anthony Howell and Kezia Burrows. Kezia? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. You may know Howell from characters like the Monitor in Anthem, Samuels from Alien Isolation, or the Augur from Dragon Age Inquisition. Short answer, Howell has landed his deep, commanding voice to tons of great characters, but Sam may be his best yet. You know, ironically enough, Kezia Burrows was Amanda Ripley in Alien Isolation. Like, do you think they were annoyed by this? Like, they sat there, like, high-fiving each other, like, fuck yeah, we made a really intense survival horror game set in a derelict space station. I wonder where our careers will go next. Then, Devolver Digital came around like, hey guys, you want to be in a tense sci-fi thriller set in a rapidly deteriorating space station? I digress. Emma Fisher is a fantastic character. It's really hard to discuss what makes the character so cool without getting into some heavy spoiler territory, so I'll save that for more towards the end. One way in which Observation has truly set a new standard for me when it comes to sci-fi thriller games is absolutely the exploration that you have over the ship. Now, it may seem tedious at first, swapping between cameras and eventually a floating sphere like you're seeing in the background gameplay, but it reminded me a lot of the tedium that people experience in Red Dead Redemption 2. I didn't feel like it was ever truly tedious in a boring sense, but more that it was tedious in the sense that it was necessary. I felt in control of my environment, and having the bird's eye view that's normally only afforded to like the cinematographer in a film felt really unique and really cool, which kind of leads me into my second favorite part of Observation. You can scan like different laptops, documents, and pictures to piece together what exactly brought these characters together and where things are headed. Now again, I can't say too much about it, But I have never come across such a well-articulated and rewarding side story content in a video game since I played The Witcher 3 for the first time. Every piece of additional information you find just adds on to another tantalizing treasure for you to uncover by the time that the credits are rolling. Now, without saying why, let me give you a short piece of advice. Do as much exploring as you can as soon as you get access to all of the modules. And listen to every broadcast that you can when you gain access to the Astrophysics 6 communication hub. You will not be disappointed, and you will love the story all the more for it. Speaking of which, oh my lord, I don't even know the proper words for how to surmise why I love this story so fucking much. Now, on one hand, I will not deny I love sci-fi thriller stories. It's actually my favorite genre of gaming and film and is my main inspiration for getting into filmmaking as it is. So yes, I'm a little biased. But I also love stories that reward me for being patient, for absorbing my surroundings, and for paying attention to subtext and visual cues. Observation treats you like you know how to comprehend a complex and minimalist story. It lays out some breadcrumbs, but it doesn't make the mistake of labeling what each breadcrumb is supposed to represent. Like when you first encounter the hexagon, it's a really shocking and mind-numbing moment of, well, wait, what the fuck is this? But then you start seeing the symbols in more places, you find them as codes and recordings, you see them on post-it notes throughout the station, and your mind, either consciously or subconsciously, slowly starts putting things together. But where observation truly shines is in its stately pace and its reliance on intensity rather than horror. Now don't get me wrong, there's definitely a few scary moments, but they're never jump scares, and you don't get the benefit of being one step ahead of the unknowable and the unseen monster lurking in the shadow. This isn't isolation where you think you kind of understand it and you're always checking your surroundings. This isn't Resident Evil where you learn cues and you know more than the main character does. You experience this all in real time at the same pace as Emma does, so the player is never 2 steps ahead. Rather, you're always shoulder to shoulder, and this helps maintain the element of tensity throughout the playtime. And then after the halfway point, man, dude, this game gets fucking trippy. There's so many wow, I did not see that coming moments that are just so rewarding, especially if you take my advice and you take in the additional information and you hunt for those Easter eggs. This game is fucking gorgeous. Full stop. Now, it may not have the jaw-dropping animations of games like The Last of Us 2 or the fine textured fidelity of Crysis 3, but it more than makes up for it with an insane attention to detail and some awesome art direction choices. Starting with the art direction, whoever helped design the menus, the credits, the look of the station, and the different visual cues needs a fucking raise. Cause this game just blew me away with how it simultaneously handled stylization as well as industrial style space travel. Think like the original Alien, but if it was shot by Roger Deakins and had the art team from Blade Runner 2049. That's how awesome this game is. And this extends to the art assets that they use to decorate the ship, like little post-it notes, laptops, and the documents that I mentioned before, and so many other things that like litter walls and hallways. But while in other games, these things would simply repeat phrases and sentences to make it easier on the developers, Observation goes the extra mile. Despite spending hours exploring, I never once came across one of these art assets that was a repeat. Rather, they actually had additional story information printed on them or had little nods to the roles of the characters that were included. And that is simply unreal in my opinion. Now, this isn't to say the game doesn't have good graphics, because it absolutely does. Character animations are rock solid, the panels and effects around the station are convincing and physical, and holy shit, you guys, this game has so many jaw-dropping camera shots and scenes that I've been saying it a lot, but I just don't even know how to describe them. I'm playing a couple of them in the background here to give you an idea of what I mean. This game feels like how an indie movie from A24 feels. Like the Coen brothers directed a sci-fi game. They're massive, they're expansive, they're full of deep shadows and amazing visuals. There's so much to see and so much to take your breath away in these scenes. I mean, when I first saw where I was after the intro, my jaw actually dropped. And I kind of just sat here taking it all in. This game may not have the graphics of AAA games, but it is far more beautiful by a wide margin. So fair warning, despite the fact that I already put it on screen, I feel it necessary to repeat it. Full spoilers for a few scenes in this game. So firstly, this is going to annoy some people, but I have to show it. This shot right here happens after you go back to the original station with Jim, and the incredible scope and unnerving revelations as the camera pans out cannot be put into proper words. It needs to be experienced. So here you go.
I can't let you in. I can't let you in.
I just, I love that so much. Okay, secondly, I don't particularly like the twist with Jim in the game, and it's probably my only main complaint. Now, the only reason I say that is because everything else in the game is so unexpected and wacky that the Jim twist is just far too telegraphed. Now, granted, it does pave the road for Sam's biggest character change, but it still feels just a little too Hollywood for my liking. Now, thirdly, I love the ending of this game. The reference to that enigmatic message at the beginning of the game is just creepy as hell. And the moment where Emma approaches the hexagon and we watch as multiple Emmas like appear from the mist and watch as one of her finally succeeds just sent chills up my spine. I love sci-fi stories that take time into a different concept and let the viewers figure out what's going on. I loved the confidence that they showed in this game. Also, your first spacewalk in this game is tremendous. Seeing Saturn for the first time from your own POV is just so cool, and it ranks up there for my favorite video game reveals of all time. The space jump back and forth between the two stations is amazingly tense and had me really worried that Emma was actually gonna die, which is extremely uncommon for a video game to actually really pull off. I almost never feel like the protagonist is in real danger, but damn it, they pulled it off in those moments. Now, I've gone on long enough, so let's end the video. Guys, I cannot recommend this game enough to you. It is spectacular in every sense of the word, and if you have Game Pass, then you have no excuse outside of your own laziness. If you don't have Game Pass, I highly recommend you shell out the funds for it because the creators of this one deserve the money. This is one fucking great game. Observation is not just a hidden gem. Right now, it is the hidden gem as far as I'm concerned. If you like games like System Shock, Soma, Alien Isolation, and shit like that, Observation is about to make it into your top 20 list. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've played Observation. And if you did you like it or did you hate it? Let me know. Be sure to like the video if you did like it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Go check us out over on Discord. We have one over there. Be sure to check us out on Reddit. We have our own subreddit. Be sure to check us out on Patreon if you want to support us monetarily. It's not required, but it's there if you want to. Be sure to come back and check out more of our content in the future. Check out our other content on the channel as well. And I will talk to you next time.